To this project, you're going to have a line that goes 3 inches down, bend, and 3 inches over. So from the outside of the bend to the end of the tube should be 3 inches, and vice versa. Just the L, it's an L line, that's all it is. So what I need to do is, this line's big enough to where I don't have to really mark anything, but I will. Okay, let me get a ruler. If you try to bend it exactly right, which I can do, if it comes up too short, you can't flare it. If it comes up too long, you can cut off the excess. But if you get it kind of where if you don't cut it enough to where you have enough to get this cutter on, it's a pain in the ass. So what I would rather do is have you make it longer than it has to be and cut off the excess. Now, if I want to bend this exactly where I want to bend it at, I'm going to show you how to do that with one of these other lines. Let's just go and break the tape. Okay? The size of the line, rigid line, we go by what? The inside or outside diameter?
Outside.
Outside or inside?
Outside.
Outside. Flexible by inside. Outside diameter is 3/8. So if I want it just to be 3 inches long, I'm gonna make a mark on it, and I'm gonna say 3 inch plus 3/8 plus a 1/16. Okay, so how many 16ths is that? 7/16, right? So I'm gonna get my ruler out and mark 7/16 on it. And it should come out pretty dang close. So 3 7/16, which is just before a half. And I'm using this big fat marker, so it's gonna give me a little bit of problem there. Okay. So 3/4, 3/8, about right there. Okay, so that line right there. Now what I want to do on the bending tool, you've got a line right here. That's where your line is going to be marked on your tube, is going to be lined up. Okay, there's a line right there, 0, right? Everybody see that? Okay, I'm going to take, this is the 3 inches on this side, so you may want to, so you don't screw it up, put a 3 on it. Okay, that way you know it's supposed to be around 3 inches. And I made it a little bit longer. Remember, I can file it if I have to. I'm going to open the tool all the way up. I'm going to insert this in to where the line's at. And I got to make sure I don't move it. I'm going to push this. Okay, I got the, see, it wants to move a little bit, so I'm going to move it like that. A little bit more. And that's it. Now I'm going to put this bender on it. It's a little bit over. Let me just tap it up a little bit. Too much. That's good. So then I usually just come over here, put it like this, hold that down on the table, like that. That's what I do right there. Okay, and now I'm just going to bend it. The table should be flat, and I'm looking at the gap between it. I go a little tad bit more, okay? Then I undo this. And I pull this out. Now I'm going to measure from here over to here. Pretty close to 3 inch?
Yeah.
Okay, I still have to put a flare in it. So now I'm going to need a couple parts over here. That blue bag, please. Okay. And you got to remember to put the sleeve on. I want you to go ahead and make it like 4 inches, and then you can cut off the excess. I'm just showing you on how to do it. That's all. Make sure you put the sleeve in the right way. That's a cap. What am I doing here? Okay. That's no good. It's got there's we got one already ready to go. Maybe. And this one's ready to go. So we're gonna put this on like that. And really, before we start, the tube where I cut it, because I cut a bunch of them yesterday really fast. It's got a problem on the inside. It's got metal bent over and stuff like that. So you pull this down, and it's got a deburring tool on it. So just kind of go around and deburr the tubing. You can also, the second small drawer down on the right, grab a file, flat file. Thank you, sir. And then I can just put it over here like this and just take off any little burrs. Okay. That's some sandpaper down there too, right? Send that on down. I was gonna go do it down there, but whatever. Just gonna get different grits of sandpaper. I'm just gonna take it and just do like this a little bit. Also the end. So everything's gonna be nice and now looks smooth, right? Good. Okay, now anybody got a dime in their pocket? Quarter won't cut it. I got a dime. All right, we look on here, 3/8 is where we're gonna put it. Okay? So we have our, remember, this will go on after the fact. So I'm not worried about it right now. Before I do that one, I gotta put that on though, along with the other things. So I'm gonna hook this in the 3/8. Okay. And the guy yesterday unwound this thing like into pieces. Okay. I'm gonna turn it like that just to get it out of my way. And we can see where that screw's gonna go. So it's gonna go on. Clamp it. There it is, clamped. It's gonna go on like this. It's got this screw down. Okay. Now you want this to stand up the height of a dime. It's a little on the high side right now. So I'm gonna wiggle it before I tighten it up. Yep, that's twice. Perfect, right? So now I'm gonna move this over. And this indexes the tool so it goes right down the center. So once I get it close, get my dime out of there. Look inside, make sure we're in the center. Okay. Snug that down. Drop a little oil on my line and the little flaring tool. And I usually put a little bit of oil on here just to keep it. And what happens is you screw this down, it's going to undo it. Well, I found out my tool over flares the line, and you have to follow the line. So if we screw it down like this, see how the handle's starting to come apart? Starting to break away as we go down. See how that handle's coming apart? See the gap between the handle and this black nut? it's coming apart. So I know that in a few more turns, it's gonna pop out. I wanna stop just before it gets there. Right about there. I'm gonna undo it. Worst case, I didn't do it enough, I can go back and do it. But once you over flatten it, you can't go backwards. Okay? Undo the tool. Undo this. This slides off this way. Undo this. Take your line out. Take a look at how nice that looks. Okay? Now, will this go on? And if you notice, we want the tube just to be a little bit bigger than the blue sleeve. If it's too big, the nut will lock up. But see how the nut goes up nice and good? That's it. So now, I need to cut the other side. So I lay this down, get my Sharpie out, well, this thing locks, so I'm using the edge of the table, which is probably not the best thing to use, but it's good enough for what we're doing. And I'm gonna go like 3 1/16 over to cut. Okay, the reason why, I gotta flare that in, right? So now, where'd my cap go? There it is. Okay. Cutting tool. And as we notice, I'm only cutting it once, right? Yeah, but I did this side all, but you guys can cut twice. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. But once you get the bend in there, it's easy to turn it. And as I'm doing it, I'm actually tightening the tool a little bit. Okay, and allowing it to cut. And that's it. Same thing. Gonna go back in, deburr. I'm gonna make sure I put my stuff on. Okay. Before I do my flare, deburr everything. A little bit of like this. It was a little bit too much sandpaper. I should have used a lighter grit because it kind of scuffed it a little bit, which could cause corrosion down the road on that line. But anyway, flare that one, and now I have a tube that has been made just for specifications. How hard is that? How long did it take me? What, 10 minutes maybe? And it's going to take me another 3 or 4 minutes to finish this thing? That's it. Anybody ever teach you this as good as I just did?
Not as good as you.
All right.
Bob taught that pretty well.
Who?
Bob taught that pretty well.
Bob? You taught general?
We do.